For 35 years, he navigated the challenges of the corporate world, spent countless hours working on the road, missing precious time with his friends and family, and made sacrifices all for one goal: the freedom that one day he'd walk away and then finally enjoy the life he had built up decades from working for. That dream eventually came and led him to Mexico, where he sought out to build his forever home. He thought that the hard part was over. He was wrong. Because just when the dream he had spent a lifetime working for, finally within reach, he discovered getting everything he ever wanted in life doesn't guarantee the ending you truly imagined.
Welcome to a new episode of Faces of Cabo, where we uncover the real stories of people who dared to build, live, and thrive in Mexico. The ones who took a leap of faith to follow their dreams. If this is the first time to the channel, welcome. My name is James, and I'm your host here at Fearless in Cabo, and I'm super excited about this new episode of Faces of Cabo. This series is one of the main reasons why I started this channel in the beginning. I wanted to create a community and a space where we can teach, learn, and grow from each other's experiences, the good, the bad, and the extraordinary. Today we're going to meet Steve. 13 years ago, he first came to Cabo with one goal: to build his dream home. But nothing went right from the start. His first builder blindsided him halfway through the project, changing plans and making decisions without his input. So he walked away. After that, he chose the condo lifestyle, thinking it would be good enough for the new life in Mexico. Yet shortly over time, he outgrew it and realized it wasn't aligned with the peaceful life he envisioned. That led him to a custom home build on the Pacific side of Cabo. On paper, it was perfect. It was everything he ever dreamed of. Along the way, Steve's journey teaches us about patience, resilience, discipline, and never giving up when life throws you challenges. Whether you're building a life here in beautiful Cabo San Lucas or somewhere else on the Baja, your story truly matters. If you have a journey worth sharing, you can reach out to me via text, YouTube, or at fearlessincabo@gmail.com. If you have a story that can inspire others, I would love the opportunity to help you tell it. If you haven't already and you enjoy this type of content, go ahead and hit the like button and the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much. So Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
participate.
I really appreciate your time. This is my good friend Steve and my new next door neighbor. He's building a beautiful house right next door in Rolling Hills Estates. Him and his beautiful wife
Thank you.
are building their own dream home right here in Cabo. It's got to be an amazing opportunity for you guys.
Yeah, we're excited about it. I mean, we committed to this project, I guess, at the same time you did.
Yeah,
almost.
Just a little bit after I did.
Yeah, and we're near the finish line.
Yeah.
Only a couple of months away, I hope.
It's getting really excited.
Yep.
Now tell me, you grew up on several military bases because of your father's career. You were constantly moving as a child. Did you ever feel truly grounded as a kid?
I did, but you know, the first 5 years of my life, we moved from one military base to another, so we went through 5 different locations. And I mean, I don't know about you, but there's not a lot I remember about the first 5 years of my life.
Yeah.
I remember probably 2 things from when I was 4 and 5. When I was 4, we were living in Oscoda, Michigan, on Lake Huron. And I remember my neighbor was this little girl, and she had this great tree house that we used to climb up.
Oh, really? Yeah.
There. So I remember that.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, we were living in Dallas, Texas when President Kennedy was assassinated. And I remember I was watching TV, and I was watching cartoons, and then the cartoons were interrupted by a special bulletin. And I remember looking at my mother, and I was like, my mom is crying. What is the matter? You know, at 5 years old, you don't really understand these things. So I don't really remember much from 5 and earlier. And then we moved to Europe. We moved to Sweden for a couple of years, spent half a year in London, and then we made a big move to Italy. And Italy, I spent a total of 13 years, and that's where I finally felt grounded.
Italy.
Yeah.
Where were you born?
So I was actually born in Italy, in Vicenza, but because of my dad's work, we moved back to the States like when I was 3 months old. So, but spending all that time in Italy was the first time I actually felt part of society.
Yeah.
Before I was a nomad.
Yeah. Does Italy remind you much of Mexico?
In some instances, I mean, Italy is a little bureaucratic, so it does have some similarities with Mexico.
More of the ease of life.
And I'm talking about the Italy of the 1960s and 70s. Italy's improved a lot.
Right.
But when I think back, it kind of reminds me of the way Mexico is today.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So things that you think should not take a lot of time, take a lot of time.
Yeah. Was your attempt in building a home in Mexico finally to fix something that you never felt right inside of you, and it brought you stability?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, even though we moved around a lot, I didn't feel like I needed that. You know, here's a funny thing. People used to say to me, "Hey, Steve, where are you from?" And I used to look at them and I'd say, "Well, do you have 10 minutes?" Because it would take 10 minutes to explain, where I was from. And I tell that story to a lot of people and I say, I really don't have a home. And they look at me and they say, "Well, I do, but I never go back there anymore. So I don't think you missed anything."
Yeah. Well, you lived in Italy, Sweden, New York. You lived in Phoenix and throughout the United States. What place shaped you the most emotionally?
New York, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in New York 35 years, and that's where all my professional career was. And I worked for 2 great banking institutions when it was actually fun to be a banker. And, New York is just a fabulous, New York City is just a fabulous place.
It's one of a kind.
Yeah. and so we fully enjoyed it. We were there during a good period.
Yeah.
It's different now, but.
When did you move to Arizona?
So we bought a vacation home in Gold Canyon, Arizona about 15 years ago.
Okay.
But we didn't, so we used it for vacations. My daughter was going to ASU. But we moved there permanently 12 years ago.
Okay.
Because I retired.
So 2014?
Something like that. I retired a little early.
That was so funny because we could have been, we were 30 miles apart and now we're next door.
Yeah, I know.
That's so funny because he lived in on the other side of Phoenix, and I was in Tempe, and it's just a small world.
It is a small world.
And now we're neighbors.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm really blessed to have them next door to me.
So are we.
Yeah. There seems to be a pattern in your life, moving from city to city and corporate environment through quicker paces, and now you have peace around you. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels great.
Yeah.
It really feels great. I mean, I'll be honest, the first 2 years I was retired, I kind of struggled with it. I was still interviewing with other institutions because I was not sure that I was ready to just hang it up. But, the bank gave me such a great deal, I couldn't pass on it. But, I'd come home and my wife would look at me and she was like, "Oh, you're here today." And I'm like, "Where do you think I'm going to be? I don't work anymore." But it's fun being retired. But here's the thing. In Phoenix, I feel like a retired person. When I come to Cabo, I feel like I'm perpetually on vacation. It's just a more relaxing feeling.
What did when you first came to Cabo, what did it feel like? What emotion hit you the hardest?
So when I came here, I didn't know what to expect. we were invited to stay with a friend who had a timeshare at the Grand Solmar Resort. Beautiful place, and what's not to like about Cabo? It's spectacular. It's beautiful. The weather was beautiful. The accommodations were beautiful. My friends took me to all of the good places to eat. Played golf at all of the great golf courses, and then the funny thing is, after about 10 days, I looked at my friend Rita and I said, Rita, I cannot sit at the pool or go to the beach today, and I don't want to play golf. I said, let's go look at real estate. I'm kind of like curious to see what things cost. And so she called a friend of hers that was a broker for Volker, and I think it's called Volkler and
I can't
Anders.
pronounce it either. It's Volker is the right name.
But they were based in Palmilla. And the kid came over and took us to see a community in Ventanas.
Okay.
Which is, I guess,
one of the biggest communities in Cabo. Yeah.
And they were going to break ground on a new community on top, their highest part of Tazal.
Was this the first phase they were starting?
No, this was, so they had built a community much lower. Then they built another community kind of in the middle.
Okay.
And this was the last piece of land they had.
Oh, you were in phase 3 in the Helms. Okay.
Yeah, and so we looked at both of those communities, and we were kind of impressed. I mean, they were built well. We looked at some models, good quality. Good communities, a lot of green, nice layout, nice amenities. So we figured, hey, let's go look at this site up top, and it was beautiful. I mean, you had an unobstructed view of the arches and the harbor, and just beautiful. And the price points were not crazy.
Yeah.
And so we actually ended up signing up for 2 penthouses side by side.
Oh wow, that's incredible.
And now, that's a little impulsive.
Yeah,
that is not what a banker does after they've been in business 35 years.
Yeah.
But I knew quite a bit about Mexico, and so I think some people have these trepidations about Mexico. They say, oh, it's an emerging market, and I'm like, no, Mexico's not an emerging market. Mexico is attached to the United States. The well-being of Mexico is reliant upon the United States. And so I kind of look at it a little differently, and I think I was trained to do that as a banker. We don't get, a lot of people get lost in minutia. They read these little factoids and then they draw conclusions. But I kind of look at it from a bigger perspective, and I'm like, Mexico's safe. Maybe it's a little different in Chiapas. Yeah. But I don't even think Mexican authorities control Chiapas. Yeah. So.
Well, this wasn't your first venture in the desert. In 2007, let's go back to there. You bought a home in Gold Canyon, just outside of the outskirts of Phoenix in the Superstition Mountains. What first attracted you to desert living?
Yeah. So as a banker, we used to come to Scottsdale every year to these bankers conferences, and all the resorts that the Biltmore,
the best golf,
the Phoenician,
the best golf courses in the world.
All beautiful places.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised. I loved the contrast of the mountains and the
it's so
beautiful
there.
Golf courses.
Yeah.
And people were nice. And so and even my wife, she said, this is a nice place. And we're very, very, very comfortable. And we often thought about, hey, if we wanted to build a second home or buy a second home or buy a second condo, that might be a place to look.
Yeah.
So that was kind of easy.
Yeah. It was a very popular area in Phoenix. So, do people actually underestimate how much their environment affects their mental state as they get older in life?
So I've had the experience where when you live in nice environments, you're just more relaxed. I don't know if other people experience.
I don't think a lot of people realize that until they go through a lot of hardship in their life, a lot of pain, a lot of misery. I think a lot of people are oblivious to that until they get to the dark side.
When I worked in New York 35 years, that can be quite consuming, especially if you're in finance. They're very long hours, they're very stressful. And I think what happens is you just get used to it, because if you just don't get used to it, you're not going to survive.
Yeah,
But then when you experience something different, it's like a great moment where you say, wow, this is great. I need to do this more often.
Right, yeah. Huh.
And I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that. So
yeah.
If you're planning a family or group getaway to Cabo San Lucas, Villa Utopia is an exclusive private escape designed for connection and comfort. Just 5 minutes from downtown, the marina, dining, nightlife, and the most exclusive beaches in Cabo, Villa Utopia delivers a rare balance of location, privacy, and elevated luxury. Imagine waking up to ocean views, swimming laps in your own private 50-foot lap pool, relaxing in the jacuzzi, or gathering around your own chef's kitchen with family and friends. Secure your escape at Villa Utopia now. Click the Airbnb link below or message me on WhatsApp to reserve your dates.
Well, you went to college at Syracuse, right? You earned a scholarship for playing soccer. What did soccer teach you about discipline and resilience in life?
So, as you know, and the World Cup is coming to Mexico, the United States, and Canada. Soccer is a global sport, and to me, it signifies global friendship. And so, soccer was great for me. Growing up in all these little different places, I needed to make new friends. I needed to assimilate to a new culture. And I used to do it with soccer.
Yeah.
It's easy. You grab a ball, you go downstairs, you kick it around with some kids, and it's a great way to become accepted, make friends. And so I did that all my life.
Yeah. Did sports help you provide stability with all the constant moving from your father's career?
A little bit. But sports will only do that if you're surrounded by good people, good coaches, other good players who are driven, and I was fortunate. I started playing organized soccer in 7th grade. My school in Italy, we never lost a game.
Yeah, that's exceptional.
Never lost a game.
Yeah.
During our seasons, never lost a tournament. So then I get recruited by Syracuse. We didn't have a very talented team in Syracuse. It was a new program. I think we lost the first 8 games we played.
Oh, wow.
For me, it was like, oh my God, this is like torture.
Death.
What did I do?
Yeah.
But, it was still a great experience. And the thing I liked about Syracuse was they actually treated us like we were professionals.
Really? Okay.
So that was a different way of looking at it, and we were treated kindly, and you kind of get to appreciate that.
Yeah, that does sound nice. You spent 35 years in corporate banking, 28 years with Citibank. What was that world really like behind the scenes? Take me to that place. What did it feel like, your day-to-day operations?
Yeah, I mean, so it never got boring.
Yeah.
Okay. When I joined Citibank, we had 250,000 employees. We had locations in 105 countries. If you remember our ads on TV, they used to say, the city never sleeps.
Oh, yeah.
And I can tell you the city never slept.
Yeah.
I'd get emails, from Indonesia, from Australia, from New Zealand at all hours of the night. And I'd have colleagues in New Zealand who were like angry that I was not responding to their emails immediately, and I'm like, I'm asleep.
Right.
But that's the mentality of the place,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, so it was a very a super client-centric organization that never said no to clients.
Right.
You have a problem? We can fix it. Then we'd go back to the office and we'd assemble 10 people together and we'd talk. Can we do this? Can we not do this? How could we do it? And so it was a great high energy entrepreneurial place to work. So it was never boring. And the thing about Citi was we had so many client solutions that, you know, if you got tired of selling derivative solutions to a client, either as an investment or a hedge, you moved on to a different product. And so there was always something new to do.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, Citi was one of the preferred providers of those types of services.
Yeah.
It's a little different now, but in those days, if you called somebody and you said you were from Citi, they never hung up. They listened.
Yeah. I was a mortgage banker for 11 years. That was the most exciting time in my life.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. Every day was an excitement.
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss it sometimes.
So, you know, it could be very stressful. The one thing about Citi was not, in my opinion, a very good training bank. They were more of, look, if you can't swim, you're going to sink.
Right.
So you better, you know, get it together. And if you want to survive here, you need to figure it out. And if you need to be at work 20 hours a day to figure it out, then
you got to do it.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but it was a great experience.
So, did your career fulfill you emotionally, or just financially, or both?
Both, I would say. Yeah. But I will tell you that I was not a workaholic and one of those types of people where my job was anything to me.
That's good.
I used to look at my job as a means to earn a living, to do the things that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Which was take care of my family or go on vacations or do other things. But
I think that it probably had to do with the way you were raised, though.
Yeah, although I have to say, my dad was the exact opposite. My dad
Yeah, but you grew up in the environment where you were living in Italy. I think that's that kind of their kind of mindset versus the States. You know, is programmed to produce, sell, produce.
That's true.
You know, that's ingrained in you.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
So.
That's true.
Was there ever a moment during your career when you thought there was more to life than this?
No, I didn't have the time to think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to think about that. I mean, they kept us very busy and engaged.
Yeah.
And actually, my favorite time at working at the bank was when we were in crisis mode. You know.
Yeah.
Financial crisis.
Yeah.
You know, the politics went out the window, and everyone rolled up their sleeves and said, okay, let's do this, let's do that, and let's solve problems, and we'll deal with the politics later.
Yeah. Most people spend decades chasing success, but never actually achieve it. Did you ever feel becoming that person?
You know, I guess there, it depends on how you measure success. I know I was making a good living. I mean, I may offend some people out there, but I think bankers are the most overpaid animals on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
You know, they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Compared to, you know, other industries. So I made a good living, provided well for my family. So I was comfortable with my success.
Right. Yeah.
And hey, I got to retire when I was 56.
That's amazing.
And you know,
that's truly a blessing. So Steve, take me to that moment when Cabo stopped feeling like a destination and started feeling like a home.
Yeah. So our investment experience in Quivira was very positive.
This was your second opportunity.
That was
in
our
Cabo.
second opportunity, and it exceeded our expectations. It's just a beautiful community.
That's right down the street.
Yeah.
Like what,
Yeah.
5-10
Well,
miles?
You can actually see it because it sits
Yeah.
below the lighthouse back there. But we started to really feel comfortable about Mexico at that point in time. And then, after 7.5 years there, we outgrew it.
Outgrew the condo.
Outgrew the condo and outgrew that community, but so we decided, we should probably sell the place because there was a good opportunity to monetize a profit there. And then what we wanted to do was immediately reinvest it into a home. And the question was, well, where's the home going to be?
Right.
And I looked at small homes in Quivira and other places, and I just said to myself, these are all expensive, and they're all on top of each other.
Yeah.
I don't want to see all my neighbors, and I may outgrow that. So we used to go up north quite often, and we drive past rolling hills, and then one day I said, we should go in there and just see what it's all about, right? And it's like this incredible hidden secret. And, And I have to tell you something. When I worked at Citibank, I had a client in Venice, Italy. And I looked at my notes. I visited this client 25 times. So I've been to Venice 25 times.
Okay, yeah.
Every time you go to Venice, it's like the most incredible experience. You're like, how did they create this wonder of the world? And then I'd come back to New York, and we eventually moved to Bronxville, New York, which is in Westchester County. I'd go over the Whitestone Bridge and I'd turn left, and you see the Manhattan skyline, and that's another one of those moments where it's like, oh, it's good to be home, and look at what a fantastic city. And I kind of get that feeling when I come through the gate at Rolling Hills. I go to the top of the hill, and where the sales office is off to your left, you look down and you see the Pacific Ocean, and you see this incredible terrain.
It's almost unreal.
And it's like, oh my God, this is just incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's totally unreal.
And there's nobody here.
I feel
There's
the
nobody
same
here.
way.
How could this be?
Yeah, I'm still shocked to this day that this place is not sold out.
And so I came in and out of the gate today about 6 times because I was running around doing things, and every time I was like, wow, look at how lucky I am.
Yeah. What did Mexico give you emotionally that you couldn't find anywhere else?
The place is beautiful, but I have to say the people here are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And when I first came to Cabo in 2013, the one thing that fascinated me was the people. People are friendly. They're genuine. They all love their jobs. Doesn't matter what they do. The guy at Pemex pumping gas, he's proud to pump gas.
It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor.
He's got his Pemex uniform.
Yeah.
You go to, I remember one morning I was in Soriana, the supermarket, at 7 in the morning. The manager was there having a meeting with all the people there. And I was like, I walked past him and I said, wow, this is like Citibank. Look how engaged these people are.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they all get together and they all go, Soriana, Soriana, Soriana. And I'm like, oh my God, look at this. I mean, people love what they do. And I said to myself, wow, these people, they're living the American dream.
Yeah.
This must have been like what the States was like during the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And one thing is, whenever I meet people in Cabo for the first time, I ask them, I say, where are you from? And I'm always amazed that probably only 10 or 15% say they're from Cabo. Everyone's from Guadalajara or Mexico City or Culiacan or Veracruz. And I'll say, oh, wow, why did you move here? And they will say, well, jobs are great, a lot of jobs. And I'll say, what else? And they will say, well, if you haven't noticed, it's a really nice place.
Yeah.
Great city, great temperatures, decent housing. And then they would say one last thing, which always left me a bit perplexed, and that is, this place is safer than where I'm from.
Yeah.
And that is a little difficult to understand when it's a 19-year-old or 22-year-old person telling you that, because it tells you a little bit about Mexico.
Correct, yeah. Because you never felt like that.
Because I never felt like that.
Yeah, I never felt like that.
I never
ever.
felt
Yeah.
like that. But it also is a great vote of confidence for California, Baja Sur, that, you know, people really feel safe here.
Yeah.
And I've
well,
always felt safe here. I've never had any issues.
Yeah, I've never felt unsafe anywhere in Mexico.
You know, so, you know, all my friends say, oh, you're crazy, you're investing in Mexico. Don't you read the newspapers? And it's like, well, yeah, I do read the newspapers, but these things are kind of foreign to Cabo.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, that first project you invested in Ventanas, it was a huge project. Take me back to, tell me exactly what happened.
Yeah.
You know, you bought it for what, $340 you said? And you...
my friend and I, we bought 2 penthouses. She bought a 3-bedroom penthouse, and I bought the one next to her, which was a 2-bedroom penthouse.
Okay.
And we asked the builder to put like a pass-through door so we could go from one unit to the other.
That's awesome.
And then we also asked them, take down this wall that separates her balcony from my balcony.
Yeah.
We want to have just one
monster balcony.
monster balcony looking over. And so, you know, we made that investment in like February 2013. And then all of a sudden in September 2013, we get a strange letter from the builder. And he just says, sort of like, oh, I just wanted to update you that your plan is coming along, and we just wanted to let you know that since this is the last piece of property that we own on that hillside, we've decided that we want to put one additional apartment building in. And to do that, the only way we can accommodate that is to put the 4 buildings in the plan closer together to make room for a 5th building.
Wow, okay.
And they were also going to tilt the buildings a little bit. So, to be quite honest, when I saw that, I said, wow, that's odd that they didn't admit that they were making a big change, and they didn't offer to give us our money back if we weren't
or ask for your approval.
You know. So I guess the sugar they were offering was, they said, oh, and by the way, since you're owners of penthouses, we've decided to gift you a garage, which we decided to build under the building.
Okay. So that was
a little something there.
Their hush money.
Yeah. Now, for me personally, I was annoyed that they were trying to pull a quick one.
Yeah.
And that's not the way I would have done it. I would have just been honest and said, we'll make these changes. We think it's good for the community. If you don't think it's good for you, then just let us know and we'll pay you your money back. But that's not what they did. Now, for me, it didn't really change anything about my unit, but my friend, who was on this end of the building,
she was getting
all of a sudden, instead of being 20 yards from the next building, now she's like 5 yards.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it didn't work for her.
Yeah.
And so we pushed back immediately, you know, put our heads together, and we said, you know what, this is kind of annoying. Let's tell them they're in breach of contract, and we want our money back. And they ignored us for 3 months. Then we finally connected with them, and we agreed with them that they would pay us back over a 6-month period. So they were going to pay us back a little money each month, and which was better than nothing.
Correct.
Because at least you're getting an answer.
Yeah.
And actually they started to pay us. You know, they were keeping to the schedule. Then of course Hurricane Odile hits.
Yeah.
Which was,
that was September of 2014, something like that.
Which was like the storm of the century for Cabo.
Yeah.
And
Cabo was torn apart.
Yeah. It created serious damage to the corridor and to a lot of the projects that Portis was bringing to market. So their ability to source cash to continue to pay us was very challenging.
Yeah.
And they just stopped. And we kind of understood where they were coming from. I mean, this is an act of God. You don't plan for these things, but they do happen. But when they didn't answer our letters or phone calls, then we thought it was better to engage an attorney.
It was probably the smartest thing to do. Was it difficult walking away from this situation, from this investment opportunity?
Not at all, because no sooner had we hired this attorney, we looked at the property in Copala.
Yeah.
And we said, oh my God, this is like a godsend. This is a much better property.
Yeah.
It's cheaper.
So
it's got a golf course.
So it was a blessing,
and it's in Quivira, so it was like a blessing.
It was
in disguise,
a blessing, yeah.
And
I've seen both projects, and it was a blessing. Yeah. You took the better route.
Yeah. But lessons learned. To be honest, I think, and I don't think the guys in Portis are crooks. I just think that's the way they do business.
Right.
They try to get away with what they can get away with.
Right.
And I don't think it's good business acumen, but
well, they probably don't think people are going to put up much of a fight.
Yeah.
And they're probably just used to, I think, just brush it over and say, what is he gonna do? Good luck trying to sue us.
But the one error I think that we made is when you buy a condo from a salesperson in a sales office, you really need to try to meet that person's boss, so the head of sales.
Sure.
And you probably want to demand to meet one of the principals of the company.
Yeah.
So that if you ever get into one of these types of situations where you hope you never have to, at least you know who you can call, and you have the guy's card and his number, and we didn't have that.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with a salesperson who, she's getting a commission on a sale, so she doesn't want this deal to crater.
Yeah.
And honestly, that person had nice person, but no decision-making power, no power within the organization. So you're wasting time.
Yeah. Did this ever leave you a bad taste in your mouth about Mexico?
No.
Never.
I mean, it was just. I wouldn't ever paint Mexico with a brush and say this is the way things are done in Mexico.
Yeah.
It was just an unfortunate situation, which at the end of the day, we learned something, and we didn't lose a lot of money. And it taught us to be smarter the next time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely true. So your next venture was Copala. And how long were you there for? 7 years, you said?
7.5 years.
Okay.
And it was a fantastic experience. I mean, the guy who owns Quivira is very different from Portis. He's a
you said he owns Copala, Copal grocery stores?
Yeah. So his family is from Sinaloa, and my understanding the family is in two businesses. They own supermarket chains and retail outlets, and then they're real estate developers.
So he's very well connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a lot of money.
So, he became a billionaire selling timeshares.
Yeah.
In Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, here in Cabo, and then in Quivira.
Yeah.
And, he lives in Newport Beach, Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
Newport Beach, California. So
yeah, that's one of the most expensive cities.
He's very successful.
What did that experience teach you about trust in business and human nature?
Well, I mean, to be quite honest, I don't think we could have really avoided what happened to us if we had done anything different.
Yeah.
So it was just a bad situation.
You think Odile really was the deciding factor?
I think that if Odile hadn't happened, we would have gotten paid on time, and we wouldn't have had to hire an attorney. But as as a banker, you see this stuff all the time. You know, sometimes there's situations which borrowers or providers of service don't anticipate, and then they get crushed.
What advice can you give other people that are looking to retire, trying to avoid bad builders, in Mexico? Because there's a lot of bad builders here.
Yeah.
There's some good ones, but there's a lot of bad ones.
So, you have to do some due diligence. I mean, I was introduced to my builder here. His name is Noé Cantu Cruz. He owns a company called Uno Mas. So he was building 4 homes in this community.
Right.
And, we agreed on a design, but before I actually hired him, I said, I don't want to visit all your sites. I want you to explain to me.
You want to visit all his sites?
Yeah,
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I want you to show me, what you do and how you do it, and
what your job site looks like, how organized or how disorganized you are.
The thing that really impressed me about him was he was so proud of what he does, and he had such a strong work ethic, and he was showing me exactly how they build the foundations and how they put these columns together like your rebar.
Yeah.
And, it took me through the whole process, and luckily for me, the 4 sites he showed me were all in different phases. So, one was just breaking the ground. One was 4 months into it. One was 8 months into it. So I was able to see a progression.
That's great.
And I was able to see, a fair amount of quality and diligence. And I said, you know what? And then, if you're a banker for a long time, one thing successful bankers can do is they can sort of feel out people.
Bullshitters, yeah.
And he seemed to be really a straight shooter.
Yeah. Well, the fact that he's willing to show you all of his work and without question.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's proud of it, yeah.
And, he explained to me that he was wearing 2 hats, that he was working also for Rolling Hills in their, I guess, permitting department for and he also showed me a couple of houses that he built in Pedregal. He came from a family of builders.
Okay.
That helped build the Grand Solmar Resort at Land's End. So I felt pretty comfortable with him.
That's good.
But it wasn't until I'd done a little homework.
Yeah.
So you have to do a little homework.
Do you think that bad experience prepared you for this one?
Yeah. And one thing I told him, and actually one thing I told Agustin, who sold me the lot and was working with Noé, I said, oh, by the way, I want the names of the people that hired Noé, and I want their phone numbers and their email addresses, because I'm going to speak to them and then find out what they think of Uno Mas, etc. Now, to be quite honest, I never did that. But the fact that he gave me that information, didn't stonewall me or anything, was like a vote for me was a vote of confidence.
Yeah.
I said, this guy is not afraid to
I would have done the
references.
same thing.
But that's what bankers do.
Yeah, I would have done this. I would have called them.
Okay.
But at that experience, most people would have left Cabo behind. What kept you here?
No, this is a special place.
Yeah,
it's just a special place.
And, so you could look over that.
And this is like the pinnacle.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I mean.
Yeah, I would agree.
There's no. I mean, I had Ventanas was a hard way to learn. Copala was a great experience, but we just outgrew it, and this is just phenomenal.
Well, now you're going to be living out here full time.
Yeah.
How is that going to feel differently?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Ask me in 6 months.
Yeah. Is Nikki going to be all up for it?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. She's looking forward to it. I mean, she's, we get a weekly construction report from Noé, and Nikki loves looking at those reports.
That's
the
awesome.
Photo and the photos.
Yeah.
And then I come down here every 3 to 4 weeks, take my own set of photos, and I do videos, and it's it's just amazing.
Take me back to that point when you first discovered rolling hills. What was the feeling inside of you when you saw it?
Well, I mean, first of all, I was amazed by the natural beauty of this terrain. It's just pristine.
There was
different from...
There was no roads here.
No, there was nothing.
Nothing here. It was all dirt, and there was no electricity. Did that scare you at all?
No, not really, because what I understood was that they would sell lots in parcels, and once they sold that parcel, then they would bring the road further down, and then they would bring the road further down.
Yeah.
So obviously they're using some of that money to do infrastructure. So that didn't bother me. And actually, you know, when I bought my lot, this was a dirt road up here. I was amazed that within a year, I got a note from Agustin, and he says, "Oh, here's your new road." And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "Wow, they really did."
Yeah,
build it.
I was a little
Really
I was a little concerned because I put in the contract. I said it needed to be done by this date.
Oh, really?
Or they were going to be penalized a certain percentage of the contract, because I was concerned that they weren't going to do the electricity. I was concerned that they weren't going to build the roads on time, and I wanted to, you know, I wanted to put the pressure on them. And Glenn assured me. He said, "You know, we're going to get it done."
Yeah.
But you know, and he wouldn't sign off on that, and I was a little concerned about that, because I'm like, well, why the hell are you not going to sign off if you're a man of your words? But he ended up coming through. I didn't have to worry about it. Augustine, rest assured, he said, yeah, he'll get it done. So I was a little concerned at first, but I
mean, by and large, I was really surprised. You know, I was like, wow, look at how long this road is. This road that comes down from the gate is a couple of miles long.
Yes.
And there's no houses on it. So who spent all this money to, you know, and then you start to see, you know, the CFE terminals and all that stuff.
Yeah. So this was the first custom home you built ever in your entire life. Why take the leap of faith now?
Because, you know, this place is so special. And to be quite honest, I drove around, and there aren't a lot of houses in here.
No, there's not.
Okay. And
it's probably 30 or 40.
I wanted to have a house that could just take advantage of the fantastic views that we have. So, you know, in my mind, I said, you know, it's just going to be a rectangular concrete structure with tons of windows. And so that was what I told Noe I wanted. And then, you know, we agreed on a floor plan, and then he kind of put it all together. You know, we'll do this for the casita, we'll join the garage with the courtyard, and so it came out quite nicely. And all my life, I've bought houses or apartments that I had to kind of restructure, and I said, you know, I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to build something that we design and we want.
And it's perfect
for us.
And you don't have to mess with it.
And you know, our place is not big, but you know, we're two people.
Right.
And that's what we want.
Yeah. Tell us about the vision and the lifestyle you're trying to create with this type of home here. The view is spectacular.
The view is spectacular, but I mean, we have a lot of outdoor space there. So that, you know, in New York, we didn't have a lot of outdoor space.
Yeah.
And in New York, you didn't want to be outdoor a lot of the time because it was either too hot and humid or snowy and icy. Whereas we learned to enjoy the outdoors in Arizona. And here it's even better because the climate is better.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And you chose to build a casita too.
Yeah, that's for guests, for our daughter.
For your daughter.
Friends that come into town.
Yeah.
I'm sure my wife will send me there once in a while as punishment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But No,
It's a very smart move to have a casita, because I don't think a lot of homes in Cabo have a casita. Probably, I would say easily less than 5%. It's very, it's something truly special to have a casita. So,
it's nice. I mean, I have a lot of friends in Europe that have followed my my adventure, and they all want the casita named after them. There was one thing that bothered me when I built this house, when we were building it. I said, hey, no way. I don't like the fact that there's that road below. And I'm looking at that road. It's like become a focal point. And I said, I don't want to see that road. And he goes, well, I said to him, can we put some planters on the edge there? And he says, no, I don't like that. He says, that's blocking your view. He says, what we'll do is we'll plant some trees that'll have some, and so you won't notice it as much.
yeah.
Okay? But he was very adamant about saying, no, you don't want anything
blocking your view.
You just want to be looking out at the ocean.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah.
It's special.
It is truly special. Well, you decided to build some of your house with rammed earth walls, and no convention to doing that. Tell me a little bit about that.
So,
it's aesthetically pleasing,
Yeah.
and plus it also cools down the main part of the house.
So, one thing about Noe is he's a builder and an engineer, but he's also an architect. And I honestly believe he thinks this is the best house he's ever built.
Okay,
He just
that's
loves
great.
it.
I'm glad.
He just loves it.
Yeah.
And he loved that we green-lighted him the chance to build these earth walls. And,
Okay.
we looked at it in the rendition, and it was appealing. But I kept telling Nikki, I said, the more I read about these earth walls, it's a little bit of an art form. You're
Correct,
not
yeah.
always gonna.
Yeah.
You can't always control exactly what you're going to get the way you get it when you lay bricks.
Sure.
I said, so there's a little bit of give and take here, and my wife, she's an artist, and she wants things done a certain way, and I was always like. So we asked Noah, we said, you know what, you need to show us some samples. Well, the first 6 samples he made, they all crashed and burned.
Yeah.
We either didn't like the colors, or we didn't like the lineage, or the bands were either too wide or too narrow. And it was getting to the point where I said, Noah, maybe we need to think about plan B. Maybe we should cover these walls with travertine or something else. He goes, no. give me another chance. I think I got it.
Yeah.
And he did get it.
That's great. Yeah.
And
they turn out beautiful.
And he likes it. There's a lot of students of architecture who have been there now, and there's even some guys that professionally build earth walls.
Yeah.
And they were like, how did you get it this color, and how did you? So it's been a great experience for him, and it was starting to become a problem for us, but it turned out really good.
That's great. I'm glad you finally got it right. What surprised you the most about building a custom home in Mexico?
The quality, I think, is excellent. I mean, I think the way they build homes here in Mexico is better than the way they build them in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, they have to because of the environment, the hurricanes that we have to deal with.
So, I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, my house is a bunker.
Yeah. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So, but it's a beautiful bunker. And so, I was surprised by the high quality of the building materials, the architecture. Noe insisted I come here visiting often, be part of the process. So we tweaked things along the way, and he encouraged that. So
that's great.
That's been great.
Yeah, not a lot of builders would do that.
No, I mean, so I've never really dealt with builders, but people tell me, in the States, you meet your builder, you sign a contract, and the guy doesn't want to really see you for another year and a half.
Well, they're going to probably do a lot of change orders, and they're going to charge you for just about every change order you're doing.
Right. But, he said, no, we want you to come down often and participate.
Yeah, because your satisfaction means everything to them. What advice can you give to anyone thinking about possibly moving to Mexico and possibly building in Mexico?
So I honestly don't think Mexico's for everybody. I think...
what type of people are for Cabo?
Yeah,
What do they have to have?
I think you have to have a little patience. You definitely have to have a little money because it's not cheap to be here. I think you need to have a little bit of an open mind. But if you have all of those, I think there's really high quality people here
I
that can
agree,
deliver what you want. They may not always do it as quickly as you want it. That's Mexico. That's part of the patience part of the equation.
If you haven't learned to have patience, you'll acquire it when you live here because you have no choice.
And I'm saying this from a guy who worked on Wall Street 35 years, where we measured success like every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Here it's like every 30 days. So it's different, but the results are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, if you just drive around and you see what people have been able to accomplish in Cabo San Lucas, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is truly a remarkable little town.
There's some bad parts of town, but people who have invested here have done very well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's paradise. How can you not? The average temperature is 65 to 94. 365 days a year, 5 inches of rain, and we have beautiful beaches,
It's safe.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half from the States.
I think it's a no-brainer. So, Steve, this was a fascinating discussion.
Thank you
so much
me.
for your time and attention today. You guys
Great to
have an
have a great
amazing
neighbor.
day. Yes, this is awesome. I love this. It's so good. Thank you guys for your time and attention today. I really appreciate it. You have an amazing day. Take care, my friend. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. I really appreciate it. I can't thank you enough for all the positive comments and all the positive stories that every one of you shared with me about your experiences right here in the Baja. I think it's truly amazing that we're growing in as a community, and we need to be there for each other. I'm absolutely elated that we hit 3,000 subscribers in such a short time period, less than 4 months. Fearless in Cabo, it isn't just about my journey. It's a part of who I am. Your support helps us keep creating what truly matters. If this inspires you, support us on Ko-Fi. Would mean the world to me. God bless you all. We wish you nothing but the best in life. Take care, my friends.